Hi, I thought I would make a separate video to review all 15 of the Circle of Colors Ravensburger jigsaw puzzles that I have. Now, as I mentioned in a couple of videos, I do not have astrology and I do not have mandala, and mushrooms I could not get my hands on. As soon as I can get mushrooms here in the US, I will add that to my collection. And if Ravensburger does release more, and they usually, I believe, release them in batches of 4. At one point, when I had them displayed in my living room, I did have them in chronological order, but that's gone all out of whack. So what I want to do here is I want to show you all 15 of these puzzles and how I did them. And if you watch my previous videos, you'll see that I use certain patterns. So we're just going to quickly go through the 15 and I'll tell you how I did them. And can I rate them best to worst or favorite to least favorite? I'm not quite so sure. And the other thing is, no, I don't time myself. I do have stopwatch. I do have my phone, but I just do it for the sheer enjoyment of assembling puzzles. Now, I hope that I'm showing you some of these in order because I do remember that Insects was my very first circle of puzzles I've done in this binge doing them. I say that because I did Poke Bowls several months back, but for the binge of doing 15 in a row. And by the way, I started these puzzles on July 21st and I finished on July 29th. So that is 15 500-piece puzzles in 9 days. So I believe that is 7,500 pieces in 9 days, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, so I did pause the video to confirm that yes, it is 7,500 pieces, all of them done in a 9-day span. Now, to be technical, it averages to 833 pieces a day. So you can just imagine if I was doing a 1,000 piece puzzle, which is my average puzzle size that I do. Oh, I hate this glare. If I was doing a 1,000 piece puzzle, it's basically saying that in 9 days I could have put together 8 puzzles. That's just a little bit of math. So this first one that I'm showing you here is Insects, and every single puzzle is done on this channel. You have the first 5, the second 5, and the last 5. Now, in this batch that I'm showing you here, you see a rainbow pattern. Okay, hopefully we can do this without too much glare. It is pretty late, and so I have lamps on and they create a glare. So Insects was done in a rainbow fashion. As you can see, even though this is a busy puzzle, once you sort and work on each color, and when I say sort, I am using a puzzle table, right? With the puzzle table that I'm using, it comes with 6 drawers. Since these are only 500-piece puzzles, I used 4 drawers for every single puzzle. All I did is flip the pieces right side up. While I flipped the pieces right side up, I filled up the drawer one to the next one, and the next one. While I was doing that, I was pulling out the edge pieces, and then I throw the edge together. I am a good puzzler when it comes to edges, so it was, very easy to throw the edges together. And then once I put the border together, I just chose whatever color that jumped out at me at the most. And I might say take out all the pinks and set them outside of the circle where the border is done. And so I've taken them out of my wooden tray and put that pile of pieces to the side and then work. So you got your pinks and your oranges and your yellows and your greens and your blues and your purple. This is Insects. I absolutely loved it. I'm not sure what the correct order is, and I'm not even concerned about that anymore. But this one here is Ocean, and it was very much the same. Now, I remember when I was about to work on Ocean, I thought with all the many, many fish and the small fish in the image, I thought, oh my goodness, this is going to be hard. But it wasn't. Why? First of all, I do the border. Secondly, there's light parts of the ocean. So, I was able to notice that. And then the third thing is the gradient. You do have your colors, your yellows, your greens, your blues, your pinks, your oranges, and a little bit of purple. So, like I said, all the pieces are right side up in the tray. By now the edge is done, and then I was able to grab certain sections, and that's how I did oceans. Now, seashells is one of my favorites because of how gorgeous it is. And as a kid, I grew up going to the beach, mainly Nantasket Beach in Revere or Revere Beach. Nantasket is not as far as Revere, but then those were the two beaches I went to as a kid. And one of the things that I would love to do is collect seashells. So when I got to seashells, I knew I was going to love this puzzle. Again, every video you see, every clip that you see of these puzzles, you'll notice I did from the outside in. And boy, did I love it. So this was seashells. And by the way, did I mention gradient again? And that's, as a matter of fact, this whole first batch is gradient. This was animals. Now, not a truly gradient puzzle, but a puzzle that was very easy to put together by pattern. How? Simply put, just grab each color out of my wooden trays. Now, these were the circumference of about 20 inches, and my puzzle table is at least twice that, maybe a little bit more than twice. So while I had my border together, I had all this room on the left, on the right, or even the top or the bottom to put color families together. And so I would pull those families out of my trays, put my trays to the side, and work on those color families. Again, this is animals. So this next puzzle is dreams, okay? Now, it's very similar to oceans, and I did oceans first, and then I went on to dreams. Now, with oceans, you have your deeper blues, or I think I did dreams first and then oceans. But bottom line is, I had some similarity in the puzzles. But what made dreams easy to put together is, I don't know if the camera's picking it up, but there were blue waves, kind of a little bit of blue stripes going across this way. So you had the border, which again is how I always put every puzzle together. But then you have your families, your color families. And I decided for the fun of it to leave the moon for last. Even though I kept running into the yellow for the moon, because you got the yellow for the light bulb right there, I still just kind of like put them to the side and waited until I got most of this done, and then I threw the moon together. Loved, loved, loved dreams. Next puzzle I want to show you by Puzzle Family is indeed this one, flowers, okay? Now, these puzzles may look a little busy, but they only take a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours. And I don't sit from beginning to end because of a little bit of hyperness in my personality and the distracted way that I function and the multitasking I do. But all in all, if I were to do it from beginning to end, it's a couple of hours and I'd knock them out. But why am I saying that? It's because, again, I always do the border first, something that I've gotten good at, and I gotta give my mom credit for that. When she was doing puzzles as I was growing up, I learned how to identify, and you just throw everything together. But then this was giving me that rainbow again, blues, reds, purples, yellows, oranges, and greens. And that's how I was able to put that one together. And hopefully I'm doing this right, because if I'm doing this right, I can edit in the videos as I did them. This one here is tropical. This is the last one that I've done actually. And the thing about tropical is, as I showed you in the video, it had 2 missing pieces and 2 identical pieces. But it still was enjoyable. And again, I did the border minus that one piece of yellow that kind of frustrated me in the beginning. And then I just boom, 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 worked on the color families. And as I worked on the color families, I was able to throw the puzzle together. Okay, let's look at 2 that kind of fit a pattern and kind of don't. This one is the busiest one, and this one is desserts. Many, many, many desserts. But there is a gradient here. Your greens, your blues, your yellows, and your browns, your reds and your pinks, and a little bit more brown there. But by virtue of the fact that there were clumps of color, I use that term, and it's not a delicate term, but there were groups of colors. So again, as I have them all face up in the wooden trays, if I wanted to say throw blue together, I would take those pieces and set them on the table and go from there. I don't quite remember how I did it, but hopefully I'm going to have a little video up there so you can see how I did it. Now this puzzle doesn't really follow a pattern, but this is probably, I'm looking at what is really my favorite, but this one, let me show it to you, was my original favorite. And I had to pause there because when I got this puzzle and I saw that red cabbage, this puzzle instantly became a favorite for me. Just lickety split. Oh my goodness, did I love that bright, bright pop of purple. So with this one, I said it doesn't fully meet a pattern. Yes, you have your purple and your yellow and your light orange and more of that, and then your dark orange / red and a little bit of pink. Yes, you have those groups, but I was looking at because it's called fruits and vegetables, I was basically looking at the fruits as I was throwing this together. And this one would be my favorite, but something supplanted that and took it, so this would be number 2, my second favorite. Okay, just have to show you that. Now, since I just showed you my favorite, I've got to quickly show you my least favorite. This is only my least favorite because of the 2 missing pieces in the 2 duplicate pieces. I don't know that I would have made tropical my least favorite, but I might have made it my least favorite. And I know I'm coming out of order, but I want to show you why. It's because to me, these are very, very similar puzzles, tropical and flowers. So because I did flowers first, I didn't really find a lot of joy in tropical. Now, if tropical or flowers had been in separate batches, I might have enjoyed tropical more, but because it came in the same batch, and when I say that, I was doing them in groups of 5, 5, and 5 to come up to 15. So we're going to name this as my least favorite. I just needed to do that so that I can segregate these ones right here that I wanted to show you. This one here is pizza, and I want to show you the reason that I just switched up from showing you rainbow cake to pizza. Maybe it seemed a little helter-skelter, but believe me, it's not, even though it's midnight, so okay, but that's neither here nor there. This is pizza, and the reason I wanted to show you this now is because this is the first one of the Circle of Colors puzzle I've done, and there were 6 that I did from the outside in all the way to the center. And I didn't really care about the colors, but I did notice something about pizza. I'm going to bring this close to you. pizza had two greens. So, and then the crust had, the outside crust was the edge pieces, and then the inside crust was part of the crust and part of the dark green. And then there was the light green. Super easy to put together. And in fact, it was only my second of the Circle of Colors puzzles, because what was the first one? The first one was insects. This was number 2 of the 15. But it was one of the easiest ones altogether, because my brain is like, oh, outside in. And there we have it. So I wanted to show you that. Now, I'm not showing you these in order from here on in, but let's look at Pokeball. Now, Pokeball twice, because I did it on its own some time ago, but because I was trying to do a compilation of all 15, a binge puzzling of all 15, it was important for me to do this fresh and not to count it as being done, because it just wouldn't have been fair. And again, I did this from the outside in. This isn't as simple as pizza. Okay, so pizza was rather simple. You see the crust and the darker green, the lighter green, the yellow and the oranges and so forth. This was a little bit different because you had your things on the perimeter. Okay, your flowers on the perimeter. You had your bigger onions in the middle. So, but it still was one that I was able to do from the outside in. And that's Pokeball. Another one that I did from the outside in is called Rainbow Cake. And the only challenge to Rainbow Cake was the slices. You had your 4 blue sliced, like as if the cake was cut. So even though I wanted to and pretty much did a good job at working this puzzle from the outside in, I had to identify those slices as to where they would go. So I don't quite remember if I did this fully from the outside in, but I'll find out because I'm going to edit in a quick speed through of this. Running out of room to put these puzzles on the floor. Now, what I thought, there's 2 puzzles that I thought would be hard, and I'm going to show you those puzzles back to back. Donuts. When I was about to do donuts, I thought, oh no, I'll never get all those donuts done. But guess what? There's groups of donuts. Can you see? You've got similar donuts, similar donuts, similar donuts. So what did I do first? I did the outside first. So that was a pinkish, right? And then you have that second part of the pink with a little part of the donuts. Once I recognized that, there we go. Another easy puzzle to put together. Even though you have these tiny, tiny, tiny donuts, it was just a great puzzle to put together. This one here might just be my favorite, and this is candies. Now, I looked at this kind of like I looked at donuts, as thinking it was going to be a challenge. But it really wasn't a challenge, because when I started putting it together, this was the first group of candies. After I did the outside, and then there was another row with part of that right here, and then the candies made the 3rd, 4, 5, 6, all the way down through there. Once I got to these, I started to notice, I said, oh, okay, you got that. You've got this candy, you got that candy, you got that candy, you got that candy, whatever. And then I go to my next one, and I again recognize, okay, I got those green there, and loved it. That's why this was my favorite. This is a puzzle I think, I can't swear to it, but I would love to do this puzzle again and time myself. I'm not into timing myself, but this one was so much fun, and the way the candies are in this image, that would be a good one to try to time myself. The last one of the 15, and again, they're not in order, but just the way that I have them here, and this is called ice cream. And this is the way that, this was done in the way that I've done all the others, is that image from the outside in. You start with your edge pieces, and then I noticed that as I was putting it together and I would get to the second piece, I would have certain patterns. So it's very easy. So I boom, 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 boom. And then you go in and you do your third one, and then the fourth one. And I think it takes 15 pictures, 15 images to show ice cream. And so that's how I did ice cream. I've got to go back. I have to go back. Please forgive me. I have to go back to candy. Want to know why? Because most of these puzzles, I took an average of 10 to 15 photos per puzzle. And this one I took 48 or 49 because I wanted to do each candy at a time. I loved this one. Again, I kind of think it's my favorite. So I can't hold up 15 puzzles, so just picture me holding 15 puzzles. Wouldn't that be so cool if I could? But no, I can't. But that is the end of the video. I am going to try to edit in clips of each puzzle as I put them together, and hopefully it'll work. And I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank you for watching all of these videos on these Circle of Colors puzzles from Ravensburger. And who knows, maybe in a few months we'll get another batch of 4, and maybe mushrooms will become available to the US, and then I can grab and do mushrooms. But for now, I'm going to end this video, do some editing, see how I do, and thank you so much for your time, and I'll see you the next time.